Welcome back, everybody, to the Running It Back Network's Tour de France recap for 2025. I am your host, Patrick Ramirez. I am a stand-up comedian. I am a lifelong cyclist, big fan of the sport, and I'm bringing you my daily thoughts of the race this year, giving you quick recaps every day, and it's the rest day today, but don't fear. I have a show for you, and I have some thoughts on some things that went on today. So it's the rest day for the tour this year. It's on a Tuesday this year, no longer Mondays like in the past. So we had 10 straight days of racing, so a little different for the riders. This is a different kind of rest day. This is a different kind of sport and race that they've gone through, because probably nobody in this race has ever raced 10 days straight before a rest day. So let's get into it like we do every single stage with headlines. Headlines from the rest day. This can be an interesting day because we've seen in the past a slew of interviews, a slew of media when it comes to following the teams on their rest day ride. We've seen product unveiled on rest days. So this is what we had in store for today. And it being so many days of racing straight, I think it was a little bit of a subdued rest day from a media and product standpoint. Now, that being said, all the interviews were there. All the pictures were taken. All the quotes were made. So let's go through my headlines. And the number one headline is a GC battle. Now, Ben Healy is in the GC lead after his breakaway his breakaway finish yesterday. He's in the GC lead by 29 seconds over Tadej Pogačar. Next is Remco Evenepoel, 1 minute back from Pogačar. And another 17 seconds back is Jonas Vingegaard, and in another 20 seconds back from that is Matteo Jorgensen. So our GC lineup is up and ready for the mountain battle in week 2 of it. By and large, nothing is really surprised when it comes to the GC. Pogačar seems to be the strongest in the race. Jonas seems to be the closest to him. Remco has shown some fight. And Jorgensen is shown to be a worthy ally for Jonas and potentially a co-leader. That's how I see it in my book. I don't think anybody would argue any different. I don't think anybody would argue Remco is poised to attack and win a stage and battle for the GC. I don't think anybody has made the argument that Visma is going to switch over and support Jorgensen. I don't think anybody's made an argument that Jonas has found the magic recipe on how to beat Tadej Pogačar in these mountains. No. By and large, it has gone exactly how we thought it would. So if we were to put this in American sports terms, where Tadej Pogačar is in the race now, let's call it a basketball 7-game series. I would say Tadej Pogačar has a 3-0 lead going into these next 2 weeks. But those 3 games he won were not blowouts. He won them all, but they weren't blowouts, and they were interesting, but nobody's even taken a game off him. So he's got a 3-0 lead, and he's going on the road. That's the first headline. Second headline on a rest day, of course, it's the interviews. It's the interviews with the riders. It's such a little fun press conference because you can kind of tell all the reporters need to get a story out there. They need to get a quote. They need to ask their questions. All the riders really don't want to be there. All their answers are pretty boring, pretty expected. And I'm not even blaming the riders. I blame a lot of the reporters on this for asking these asinine, silly softball questions. So what do we even really want out of these interviews? Well, I watched a few interviews on YouTube to report back on. The first interview I watched was an interview on Zoom of Jasper Philipsen. It was a Zoom interview. It was done by, I think, not Cycle Sport, but Cycle something. And if you think my interview series, if you think my studio show is a bit on the DIY side, you should have watched this one. This Zoom was a total mess. This interview had probably a bunch of people logged into the Zoom, and they were just asking questions. Like, he was just unmuting mics as he went along. At one point, someone started recording the interview, and we just heard the little recording in progress. And Philipsen is like, Okay. And just keeps on going. A couple of dings, a couple of emails, a couple of text notifications are going off. But Phillipsen did mention that he's recovering. He's in good shape. He's received a lot of well wishes, which included from Brian Coquard. But he has not been on the bike yet. He can't get on the bike. He's still recovering, in recovery mode. But by and large, seemed to be in good spirits in his interview. Next interview I watched there was one with Remco and Tim Melier at the same table being asked questions. And the first weird thing about riders' interviews, they always make them wear like sponsors t-shirts and casual wear. Remco had a hat on, had a ball cap on that I couldn't read what it was. I didn't really know. Riders look odd in ball caps for some reason, but they're wearing these shirts that have their sponsors. I don't mind it. Cyclists veer very close to that of F1 drivers with all the sponsored memorabilia and clothing on them at all times. But I will say, I definitely like it better when they make the riders parade out in their cycling kits and they got to stand there in their shorts and jerseys and they look awkward, and it's just not very good clothing to wear away from the bike. It's not good to stand in. It looks weird. The jerseys ride up on them. Better than that, at least. But I watched their interview, and it's already hard for Remco in English because he kind of just talks in circles, and whenever he's done talking, he does the yeah, like that's the sign that he's done answering. Like, Remco, the GC battle, do you see yourself getting in the mix to challenge? It is what is, and I try best. I cannot match the power on the high end, but we'll see. So yeah. Like, what are these interviews? What are these questions? I wish some riders would mix it up. I really wish we had a fun rider in these interviews for once. But one reporter had an interesting strategy when asking Remco her question. She goes, "Remco, you're one of the greatest riders in the world. How do you feel?" And Remco interrupts, "All right, we're starting positive." And then everybody has to do the awkward laugh. Just butter up the rider when you start your question. You're one of the strongest people in the world to ever touch a bike. We're all marveled by how you can turn the pedals, how you look on a bike. You've got an incredible hairline. You've done so much for the children in Africa. How do you feel the time trial is going to go? Unbelievably boring press conferences, but what do I want from these people? They're not entertainers. They're not there to get laughs or to sit down and give insightful answers. And I'll tell you who, little mini loser of the day is Tim Melier. Was asked like one question, and the other 45 minutes was all Remco. He had to sit there. He should have chimed in on some of them. It's like, "Hey, Remco, I got a question. What's up with your attack? Like, did you honestly think that was going to win the stage? Did you think, hey, maybe I'll mix it up? Hey, wouldn't you like to know that?" Melier, take over the interview next time. A third interview I watched was Tadej Pogacar's interview, which he described nicely. They went for a ride. There was a coffee stop. He ate a hamburger. In the interview, he says, like, "We had a burger, then I'm going to have a massage. And then the rest day is going to be over." Made it actually sound kind of relaxing. That sounded like a rest day. Sounded like a ride I would want to do. Let's go for a ride. Let's drink some coffee. Let's eat some burgers and then get a massage. That sounds pretty fun. It sounds really relaxed. Tadej, like everything's going according to plan for him. I caught, I think it was the Visma team's Instagram, and they had a picture of the riders post-race. They're all clothed, they're all changed, they're all showered, and they're having dinner like in a hotel conference room. And they just had all the chafing dishes, like buffet style, all the plates stacked up. Looked really good. Like, what's better than just a buffet style of hotel food? Like, just load it up. Here's your nice clean plate. Go get yourself some chicken. Go load up. And then when you're ready, just come on back. Come back and get some more food. Seems nice. Like, we talk about how hard it is to be a professional cyclist, but the rest day seems like the best day to be a rider, especially if, say, you're like a medium helper rider. You probably don't have any media commitments to do. You go for your ride, you have the coffee, you eat, Go get a nap. Maybe you watch some TV. You make some phone calls. Great day. That seems like a lot of fun. Get your laundry done. Not bad at all. So the interviews, get ready because rest day number 2 is going to be just like this too. All we can hope for is there's going to be some drama the stage or two before the rest day, and then we can talk about it and maybe get a writer pissed off in his interview. I love a pissed off cyclist. Moving on, the USA report. I wrote down all the USA riders and what I think their objectives would be for this upcoming week. We got Quinn Simmons. Also, I don't know if you caught some great video of Quinn Simmons riding through the American flag yesterday. Quickly gaining a lot of popularity, Simmons. That's why I'm rooting for him so much to win a stage. So his goal, I would say, in the next week is stages. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of flat stages. I mean, there are flat stages. We'll talk about tomorrow's profile. But I don't think there's a pure sprinter's day. So I would say Quinn Simmons' goal is still stages. Get in breaks, hunt for stages. Matteo Jorgensen, his goal for the next week is help and be there as a co-leader. Be there to play that secondary card. He talked a little bit about his attacks yesterday, how he's feeling. I think he's one of those guys that gets stronger as the race goes on. We always say that. But I do think with Jorgensen, with these endurance guys, these climber guys, it's possible. Nielsen Palace, writer on EF, stated that he's not in top form. He's hanging in there, though. And now EF has the jersey. So maybe a little extra motivation to help keep that jersey. Presumably, they're going to keep it through tomorrow. And possibly he can find some legs to help out his teammate in the lead, Ben Healy. Sepp Kuss. We saw him make an appearance yesterday in the climbs. Had a little attack. We still didn't figure out what that was. But, of course, his goal is going to be to help Jonas and Jorgensen. And I would say more specifically is to be a satellite rider potentially in one of these uphill days. I think that's something he can possibly do. And the last rider, Will Barta, and I just simply wrote, survive. You just got to make it through these mountain days. I don't even know who Movistar's guy is in this GC race because their names are nowhere in there. So what's the plan? I think it's just to be survive. And if you can get in a break, great. You did it once. You might have to consider doing it again. All of Movistar might need to consider that. I would deem Movistar a perennial strong team, so a breakaway has got to be possible. A win from the breakaway has got to be something they can achieve, and maybe Will Barta can survive and get in some breaks here. Moving on to the next category, it's winners and losers. Interesting. What do you think I've got prepared for you on a rest day of winners and losers? Well, I do have a few. Number one winner. This is from my deep dive of reading articles and headlines, and the winner is RVs by the side of the road. I read an article. Michael Woods, who was in the breakaway yesterday, said he really needed to use the bathroom, and there was an RV by the side of the road, and he pulled over and used their bathroom. He said he almost had to pull a Tommy Dumoulin. If you remember, Tommy Dumoulin was in the Giro d'Italia leader's jersey maybe 5-6 years ago, and he just pulled it aside and had to take a shit. And I think it was great because we all felt human at that moment. It's like, yeah, we've all had to take shits, and there's no bathroom around, and you're just like, I'm going. When I see a spot, I'm going. And Michael Woods found an RV by the side of the road yesterday and went and used that bathroom. So how about RVs by the side of the road when you need them? Winner of the day. Another winner of the day, how about just the spa day that these riders have on a rest day? That's got to be a good feeling. If you made it through 10 days of racing and you're relatively unscathed, you don't just feel like you're falling apart. It's been 10 days and you just get to sleep in. You do your little ride with the coffee, you take the pictures, and then it's off to massage. It's off to lay down in an air-conditioned hotel room. That sounds like a good day. I said if you want to be a professional rider one day, do it on a rest day. That seems like just a great, great spa day to have. Get some food, sneak in some snacks to your hotel room. Grab a burger like Tadej. I wonder where he got the burger. from? I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't like a franchise place like a McDonald's or a Burger King. I'm sure it's a nice burger, but where do you get that from? If you were to say, get a burger from anywhere, where are you going? Would like to know that. So we got some losers on the rest day too. So I read an article from yesterday, and Jonas Rijkaard, the rider who got in the break with his teammate, Mathieu van der Poel, was out there all day, hard riding. The breakaway got brought back. He reportedly puked 5 times during the race. So we talked about an RV by the side of the road being perfect. What could be less perfect than puking off your bike 5 times? Like, we talk about how great these athletes are all the time. How about puking and then having to reset and do more racing? This sounds horrendous. Like, puking in general in an ideal situation. Like, have you ever been sick or your stomach hurts and you're on your couch and you know it's coming and you got to run to the bathroom? Perfect. That's perfect. Run to your bathroom and puke in the toilet. No tragedies, no nothing. Imagine puking on a bike with a camera. I'm surprised we haven't found this on camera somewhere. Imagine puking and then just trying to reset and keep riding. Like, what do you do? Like, I guess my instinct is to drink some fluids, maybe eat, but your stomach has got to be so torn up that you probably can't eat. So now I'm bumping up Jonas Rijkaard in my true warrior status after puking 5 times. Jeez. The second Jonas. Another loser of the day is an obvious one. How about lame press conferences? The riders don't want to be there. They're wearing their dumb sponsor shirts. The press, the journalists are asking them softball questions. It's easy. We have to do it. We need quotes. We need headlines. You know what? I'm going to throw in another loser of the day. How about 2 websites that were part of my growing up in cycling that are just complete abominations now? Cyclingnews.com used to be where I would go every single morning to read the headlines, click the articles, look at pictures, and now everything's behind a paywall. There's nothing interesting there that I can't find through another source. It's pathetic. The other one I throw in there is VeloNews, which was the place to go if you were a USA Cycling fan, because you could see the global headlines and then you could see all the U.S. headlines too. It would cover U.S. races. You can't click anything on VeloNews without getting an ad, a banner, and you can't read a single article. You have to be a subscriber. It's a total mess. That thing should just go away at this point. There's nothing on it that you would go to. There's no interviews. It used to be there'd be interviews with American riders and you could learn about them. I think 4 people work at VeloNews now. It's junk. It's probably getting sold off. That's why. No one buys the magazine anymore. No one subscribes to it. It's not a business model that can make any money. And they sure act like it. Losers of the day is websites I used to go to as a youth that no longer really produce any content and just want to charge you for nutrition products. Moving on, Media GC. So this is a fun one because I tallied the numbers from 3 YouTube shows from yesterday's Stage 10 recaps. And let's see who wins. So, The Move. I was critical of The Move the other day. I said, though, I love that show, though. It's fun. They mix it up. The Move's podcast recap for Stage 10 gained 58K views. L'Entente Rouge, their live feed immediately after the stage, gained 33K. And The Butterfly Effect with Chris Horner, who I now know his sponsor is Baker Tilly, but I still don't know what they do because he sits in front of half the banner, so I can't read the whole slogan. There's no website on the banner. There's no Instagram. There's no QR to click. But kudos to him because he doesn't bombard his fans with 5 minutes of ad reads. The Butterfly Effect got for their stage recap for Stage 10, 64K, keeping the GC lead. Big numbers for all of them. L'Entente Rouge especially, their biggest numbers of the tour so far with 33K. Really good. So that GC battle is heating up with the Media GC. So let's talk tomorrow. Quick prediction of tomorrow. It's a flat stage. It's labeled as flat. It's 156K. It's got 4 Category 4s and a Category 3 towards the end. So is this going to be a pure sprinter stage? It looks like maybe a stage for a breakaway, but coming out of a rest day, I could very much see that this is a stage where nothing happens. This is going to be a really subdued start, potentially our most boring stage of the year. We'll see, though. This tour has surprised me already. But if you rested, if you're one of these guys who's good after a rest, this is another Quinn Simmons day. This is another breakaway day, possibly a big group of breakaways, riders to it, maybe a hard first hour establishing the break as well, or total cruise fest. This is going to be feast or famine tomorrow, is my prediction. Let's hope it's exciting. Let's hope there's something interesting to watch here. I'm not thinking there will be, though. I'm thinking this is going to be hey, let's get half a day of rest before we start racing, guys. What do you think of that? So that's stage 11 for tomorrow. It's all leading up to the uphill time trial this next week, which will really separate. It's only 10.9 Ks, but it's going to be 20 minutes of effort more likely, and it's uphill. So this is going to be a real test to see if anybody can rival Pogačar. He's going to win. He's going to win the time trial, the uphill time trial. It's just a matter of by how much and what second and third is going to be like. And is Jorgensen going to do a little leapfrogging here? You need to think about that because on a time trial, he's not obligated to help. He's obligated to go ride his best time trial. So Pogačar, extend your lead in the time trial. That's probably going to happen. Jorgensen, though, very intriguing what he's going to produce in this time trial and where he shakes up in the GC battle with his own teammate. And that could be our drama. That could definitely be our drama in the end of the second week and into the third. Wow. That's a good one. All right, everybody. That was the rest day recap for the Running It Back Network for the 2025 Tour de France. I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to the channel since we've been putting up these recaps. Everybody's checked out my videos up there, my stand-up clips, my interview series, and keep it going because the tour's happening. The tour is in full swing officially. I can't wait for it to keep going and for these numbers to start hitting, to start the rubbers officially meeting the road. Tadej, Jonas, Remco, Jorgensen, Bacalad, maybe not, breakaway riders, USA. We're all going to find out. We will see you tomorrow for stage 11 for me, Patrick Ramirez, and the Running It Back Network. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you tomorrow.